the rumblings of war were, the drums were getting louder and louder, and he went and hocked and bought a 41 Ford on it because his other car was getting older and older, and that's what we had until I guess 1951. He had that car 10 years. There was I think a closer community because the stuff that they made in both plants were for the war effort. And the people knew they were contributing. I don't think they really had that much of a loss of manpower. The photo products hired a lot of women for their jobs. They were jobs that women could do without any effort. In the front plant, though, my dad was exempt because of his job for the war effort. But a lot of the people that worked in the plant all joined the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and during the night, when they got home from work, they'd go over the South River, along the riverbank there where the Laffin's used cars were. That part of the river was open then, and they took and rebuilt the one boat and made it into a patrol boat. They had hot water heat in it with an old potbelly stove that they hooked up. The women would take turns cooking the meals for them. They'd come home from work and go right on patrol duty, and they patrolled the Arthur Kill down to Leonardo and that way, because with Leonardo and all the refineries, that was a prime area for, yeah, we celebrated here in the village pretty damn good. On VE Day and VJ Day both. Well, I don't remember the parade so much. They had a big parade in New York, and at the time, you didn't have TV and all like you do now. You saw it in the newsreels. Now, one soldier gets wounded and or killed, and it's on the news media right away. Things have really changed that way. My next door neighbor, the Dill family, next door, there was two of them in the Navy. Homer Dillett became the coach and principal at the high school. He was in the Navy, and his younger brother, my brother-in-law, was in the Navy. Used to be during the war, the parties would be between their house and our house here. My sister was a cheerleader for Sayreville High, and the whole gang, they always partied between the two homes. That was the big party of celebrating the war being over. You didn't have as many people, I don't think, going to church as groups as you do today, because now transportation isn't a problem. If you got to church once a month, it was a lot, because it was very inconvenient to get there. Old LV and St. Stanislaus were the only ones in the Sayreville area, other than, try to think, the two churches on Main Street. I think they're one's Methodist, one Protestant. A good bit of Sayreville was Catholic for years. Well, started out Irish and German, and I think Sayreville became predominantly Polish for a good while. In fact, when I went off to college down in West Virginia, I had such an accent from living with the Polish people and going to school with them for so many years. They all thought I was from Brooklyn. I had a very distinct accent then. All of Sayreville was predominantly Polish way back. I'd say probably 2 out of 3 people that I knew were Polish, at least. They did some square dancing at the Y, at the parties they had there. People seemed to like that then because you got to squeeze the gal you were with. Oh, I learned that at the old Roosevelt school. Then got into the 8th grade. That's when you mixed with almost entirely Polish because the 8th grade was at the old Wilson school. Only the first 7 grades were at the Roosevelt school. Our first TV was a repossessed television that Thompson, that was the corner of Washington Road and Main Street, it was a TV place there. He had gotten a hold of this set that was repossessed. That belonged to the Deal Fire Company, and they said that the TV would go blank. And in those days, for a little screen that big, it was all for 2 people to carry. That TV set had to go close to 100 pounds. And I mean, it was a monster of a set with just that little tube. The only thing that was wrong with it, my uncle was an electrician. Him and my dad opened it up, took it apart. They found there was 2 cold solders on it. They resoldered it. We had one of the first TVs in the area. Well, Heindel down here, Billy Heindel, his parents had bought one. He was a supervisor in the F&F plant, and he had one. Billy became postmaster at Parlin there for a good many years. I watched that growing up as a kid, and then when we got the set, everybody used to pack in here. And the first idea of color TV, they used to have a piece of celluloid that was green on the bottom, brown in the middle, and then blue on the top. And you held that in front of your TV, and that was your colored TV. It would work for cowboy pictures, but that's about all. As the games came along, yeah, it changed drastically. Because the kids, instead of going out riding their bikes and all, they sat playing games on TV.